Since 1952, every March, some of the greatest drivers and marks in the world have come to this location in Florida to compete in the 12 Hours of Sebring. Names like Andretti, Gurney, Penske, and even the great Manuel Fangio have competed here. Round number one here wasn't that great a success. But this is Dodge Viper Cup.
Sebring. It is truly a legendary venue, and earning a spot on the Wall of Champions for the 12 Hours is something very rare and special indeed. Today, this legendary venue plays host to a legendary pony car, the Dodge Viper. It's the Dodge Viper Cup, presented by Pennzoil Ultra, round two. Here's the starting lineup. Ben Keating on pole, and as you can see, he put together a brilliant lap in qualifying, and A.J. Morgan alongside. Row number two, one of the most experienced drivers in this championship, Jeff Courtney, with track time here, and Kurt Solberger. Row number three, Todd Nelson, who is proving to be a revelation early in the season, and Frank Lussier in his number 52. Row number four, Michael Von Killick, one of the experienced drivers in this championship, and one of our celebrity drivers, J.G. Pasterjack. We go then to row number five, Billy Grupp, who put on a sterling show in the opening round of the championship, and Dave Fiorelli, whose opening round was not quite what he wanted to see. Then Dave Mazik and Larry Carter will fill out row number six here in this second round of the Dodge Viper Cup. And there is the starting lineup. Remember, it is standing starts. I'm Greg Creamer. Welcome back to Sebring for this second round of the championship. The wheel and lights are on. When they go out, we go. Green flag racing here at Sebring. They are out. We are underway. The standing start and a great launch by Ben Keating. Super move. Here comes Jeff Courtney slotting into second as they head down into turn one. On board here with Courtney, and something wrong with Keating. He's off. Oh, and a big hit into the wall at turn one, Tom.
I'm not convinced that hurt that Viper at all. I think it's going to come back. Big hit by Ben Keating. You know, he got in there way too deep in turn one, as anybody who's ever done Sebring will tell you, is the one that's going to bite you first.
Well, it's that decreasing radius, tightening up on the exit, and of course now that puts Jeff Courtney into the lead with the very impressive A.J. Morgan slotting into second. They are already starting to open up a bit of a lead over Todd Nelson, and A.J. looking for the move, and look at Courtney. He defends down to the inside a little bit as well, but he keeps it tight on the exit and is able to get that straight line drive out. Meanwhile, let's go back and take another look at that from Courtney's onboard camera.
Jeff Courtney gets a pretty good launch, but Ben Keating gets a slightly better one as he gets down under the bridge very quickly. And as you say, this corner tightens up on you. You don't want to early apex it. And when it does, that happens, and boom, into the tire walls. Here's another look from his onboard camera with his data. I wonder how many G's that registered.
And he puts it in gear and starts to drive away.
Gets it driven away.
That is impressive. So, as a matter of fact, that is Keating. He has gathered it up again and has caught Lussier, who had a problem at the start and stalled. So Keating has already essentially caught the back of the pack in a wounded Viper.
Can't pass him though, because we're under full course yellow owing to the very crash that Keating just had. Why? He's already gone. Naturally, the safety guys are going to want to check that wall, make sure that there's some integrity there. So for the second time in two races at Sebring, we go full course yellow after the first lap.
Challenges at Sebring, they are immense. So the Dodge Challenger makes its way on track once again. There's Courtney. Keating is going to duck into the pits, and we get a report as well that Kurt Solberger has called into the pit. So here's the lineup as they come by. Courtney, Morgan, Von Killick, Nelson, and Dave Fiorelli. He is in Keating's backup car, and Fiorelli doing an amazing job. We'll be right back. A bit of a deja vu moment this morning here at Sebring. This is what it looked. The alarm was a thunderstorm, and you can see the patch on the wall from round one. There were fears it would be the same thing, but it has turned into a glorious day for the second round of the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra. Pace car is out. We are anticipating going back to green as this field walks its way around. That first multicolored car, normally you'd associate with Keating, is Dave Fiorelli, who rented that car for today. There is Keating, and obviously he had that big off. You can still see some stuff dragging, but the crew doing a great job after this.
Well, this was a big hit. He takes it into the crew, and we all talk about Ben Keating, but that organization that he's got working with him works fantastically well. Great racing crew.
Superb, and again, testament to how sturdy these machines are, that he was able to drive it away, get into the pits, and get back out without losing a lap. And look at the gap these lead two have gotten already before the green. You can see Nelson coming around, but I almost wonder if he wasn't caught out. Rookie of the championship, not sure exactly what to do. And as Courtney and Morgan started to get on the gas, they opened up a big gap. Morgan out of frame, trying to get a wide run through this corner. There he comes. He's trying to get up alongside Courtney. Courtney protected it right at the wall all the way around and ended up right where Morgan wanted to go. That shows you a bit of that savvy racecraft of a very experienced Jeff Courtney.
He does a very good job, and back in third it is Michael Von Quillick.
So watch it here now. Courtney, as they start to work through these tight, complex of S's, now into this long, sweeping turn 6. And there is Morgan, and he is all over the back of Courtney as they head down to the hairpin, one of the best overtaking areas on the track.
Well, this is where it separates the men from the boys. You're never really going to go around the outside here unless the driver in front of you loses a lot of momentum. It didn't work that time. Jeff Courtney defending well on the inside.
Yeah, Morgan in the opening round made Ben Keating pay for running a tight line into that corner. Nothing he could do this time. Courtney doing a great job of getting through that corner, through that quick right-left combination. Earlier, we talked to Courtney about the challenges of Sebring.
Well, obviously with the ACRX, this is my first time here, but I do have experience here. Haven't been here in a couple years, but I know the track well. I used to race the Panos series here, quite a few World Challenge races. You're right, rough course, and it's always a trade-off on whether to soften the car up for the bumps or give a little bit up. So we've worked real hard this weekend to try to get this thing dialed in, but we ran into a lot of challenges with weather. So, our plan is to go out, run as hard and as smart as we can, and hope that we hit the setup. I don't even care about straightaway speed. It's a spec series. I'm assuming we're all very close. I care about how fast I can get through the turn and how fast I can get out of the turn. Obviously 1 and 17, very fast turns, very rough, probably the two of the roughest turns and the most high speed. So, setup's a big deal, and it doesn't hurt to have a little manhood. I look at the schedule and I look at this as one of the tracks that I should perform at. So for me, I'm not going to call it a make or break, but you're damn straight I want to win it.
Well, Jeff may have just explained there how he's able to get out of the hairpin so effectively with that tight entry. He's got that car set up for corner exit.
He says he doesn't care about straight line speed. There's an example of some straight line speed and some late braking. He had a beautiful job by AJ, got in behind him, used all the aero available in these Dodge Viper ACRXs, and then he drove it through there, didn't he?
Boy, he drove it. He had that back end hanging out over those bumps and just gassed it. I'll tell you what, this young man, he ran some of the races last year, but he has evolved, hasn't he?
Oh, he really is a great talent, and we've seen that in just a couple of days. When you can run with Jeff Courtney, you're doing a great job, and AJ is doing a great job. But look at the gap back to Von Quillick, who had an opportunity to stay with these guys at the beginning of the race. You can only assume that Todd Nelson just maybe popped it out of gear one time. In the meantime, here's the big story. You can see that bodywork hanging off the back, and now Ben Keating is going to start running with his friends. Now, he sees these guys every day in the paddock, and he doesn't want to make any enemies out of them. So there goes one.
Well, the one nice thing is when you're known as being a very aggressive driver and people see you coming up in the mirrors, sometimes they'll just delay that turn in a little bit and let you through. Yeah,
Dave Mazak may very well do that. Now he knows it's Ben Keating. And as we head down in here to the hairpin, you can see that Dave Mazak is going to give him all the room he wants under the Mobile One bridge. And Keating, he's driving it, man. It may not be quite right. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he knocks some alignment out of that, but he's got to steer it under braking. You just don't have to do that in an ACRX.
Well, on board with Mazak, and you can see he's dragging a big air brake there that's got to be just messing up the back end of that car. And look at him just sling it. He doesn't care, just throwing that around. And meanwhile, here is a look at the number 19 of Michael von Quillick. And the reason is he is going into the pits. We have a report that there was an infraction, a pass under yellow, as that full course caution came out. And we're also getting word that this guy who will pick that spot up now is also going to have to maybe be called into the pits as some pretty tight quarters racing back in the field.
Well, you know, Billy Bergkamp has done such a great job this weekend, and so has Michael von Quillick. To come out of third place and have to make a call into the pits, it's a tough way to go.
Very frustrating indeed. Lots more with Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra when we come back.
Sebring, Florida. Built on an old airport, basically a great expanse of asphalt. The greatest thing about running at airports is you get to run around airplanes. It's such a beautiful scene here at Sebring, Florida. And there's your leader.
There he is. Just a great job. A.J. Morgan looking back at Jeff Courtney. And tell you what, this tells you something about, Courtney got a great run. Actually, Morgan looks like he may have pulled off to the inside. Courtney is blowing by him. Morgan may be having some sort of a problem.
Yeah, you got to believe that maybe clutch related, something like that, but he's lost drive. I'm a little worried that he's that far to the driver's right. There's a lot of junk over there. But as he throws on his four-ways, obviously radioing back to the pits trying to get this figured out. Meanwhile, he's getting freight trained on the back straight, and that's never good.
No, not at all. There's Billy Grupp. But again, you see Grupp now. That right turn signal comes on. That's the indicator. He is going into the pits. He, too, has been called in for that pass under the full course caution, double yellows infraction. So that's going to be very, very frustrating for him.
Yeah, well, here's something that the guy who hit the wall so hard yesterday, Dave, was not thinking about today. I'm going to be running 1-2 with my teammate driving his car. This is really cool.
This puts an interesting study in place, doesn't it? How hard do you race when the guy who owns the car you're renting is coming up behind you? You paid your money.
Yeah, but you get to race him, but what if you run it off? This is very difficult, but you know Ben Keating's coming, and it won't be long before his teammate is going to let him by. Let him race him for a little while. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's Todd Nelson in that all-black Dodge Viper. He kind of came out on the right side of this when Grupp and von Quillick went into the pits. There's Billy Grupp coming out of the pits, and that steam you see coming from the cars coming straight out of his ears.
Exactly. Obviously frustrating. Meanwhile, back to this great scrap. That is Todd Nelson. Right behind him is Fiorelli, and then a quickly closing Keating at this point. And there's the look back from Fiorelli, and Keating's hunting.
Yeah, there he goes. He's going to take a run down the inside here, and he loves this corner. Watch him drive it. Gets the back end just a little bit out. That makes me love these Dodge Vipers. It's such a great character car. Now, Todd Nelson looks in his rearview mirror and thinks, oh dear.
Yeah, exactly. Here comes Keating. And you're right. One of the things that it looks, for all the power and for all of the muscle car, pony car sort of chops about these cars, they take a set so well, don't they? You can really, they're very user-friendly, and it allows you to really control that power. And quickly now, Keating is closing, but Nelson's responding. He's up the ante because look at how quickly both of them now are pulling away from Fiorelli, and Fiorelli was all over the back of Nelson, so I think Nelson's answered the bell.
Yeah, and I don't see any reason why not. Keep him behind as long as possible. That's classic. Taking a run onto that straightaway, and look at already the drive. He gets off the corner, and he'll be off there in less than 500 feet.
And remember, Keating used that in round one. He didn't get the pass made on Morgan for the win, but he closed a lot of ground up, and I think he realized that is effective, and I'm going to do it again. And boy, did he make it work as he got by Nelson. Nelson tries that tight line down, and that's right in the middle of those bumps. Very, very tough. You know, Tom, when we started this segment, you talked about this is a great expanse of asphalt and concrete. They're old taxiways. Fortunately for this series, to meet the challenges of Sebring, they have a great tire on every one of these cars. But we asked Michelin's John Church to tell us a little bit about this remarkable tire.
The challenge when the track starts drying out with wets is you will tear them up. They're made to run in the cold weather and in the wet, and when it starts drying out, it tears them up. So we do our best to try to make that tire work in a drying track situation, but it's a pretty strong compromise. Really just listening to the advice of others, listening to the advice from Michelin. The things we would tell them would be, stay consistent out there, stay on your line, try different things, compare them back to the other tires that they remember, and see if they can go deeper in a turn, brake later, and get a confidence about the tires. Listening to the drivers and instructors will help them a lot there. Well, you look at their experience level and how much risk they're willing to take, and it's kind of like, do they want to be there at the end with the right tire, or be confident that during qualifying, if they've got the right choice of slick or a rain, it's going to get them to the podium with the right tire.
Well, you're a winner anyway when your choice of tires is Michelin, so that's a good thing, and these guys all love it. Speaking of loving it, look at this battle. This is the battle for 5th, and sitting in 7th. You talked about Billy Grupp coming out of the pits with the steam. Look at the red mist attack that Mike Von Quillig has put on. He just made a move on Larry Carter and picked up 6th spot. Remember, he served that penalty. He is on an absolute flyer up through this pack right now. Red mist and all. Big move.
There he goes again, Michael Von Quillig up and down the inside of the 3 car, and as they head down to the tower turn, he's going to be able to make that stick. And look who's coming along with him.
Wow, just a great job by Mike Von Quillig. Obviously very frustrated by having that penalty, but putting that red mist to good use. Sometimes you just wad the thing up, but not in this case. He's doing a great job. Meanwhile, Keating, boy, again, a little sketchy on the entry there to turn 1, and you can see he's still got that big piece of debris dragging at the back, and he got around Nelson, but Nelson has not let Keating go.
Nelson's only done one of these races before. He's putting on one heck of a show. Jeff Courtney is still way out in the league. We'll be right back with Dodge Viper Cup, presented by Pennzoil Ultra.
Welcome back to Sebring, and when you're running in the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra, you get tremendous support by the folks at Dodge. There is their support vehicle, their series headquarters, and then you get awesome racing, but we've got a tire off. That is A.J. Morgan, and that has come right off. That is the carcass or the tread at any rate. And apparently, Tom, I wonder if you called it earlier when he would slow down because of that clutch problem. He got over in that junk by the wall. I wonder if he didn't pick up a puncher.
There's a lot of junk there, and it makes perfect sense that it would deflate and then the tread would separate. That's just a terrible thing. And AJ's a smart guy. He knows that his tire's down. He's not going to drive the car any more than he absolutely has to. Why do damage to that front splitter? So you can count him out of the game. Meanwhile, take a look at Jeff Courtney. That is a lot of open space behind him. How long can this possibly last? But look at the contrails coming off the back of the car. You can see the arrow working. Jeff Courtney's got Sebring figured out, and there we go.
A full front straight and half a turn 1 is his margin right now. Brilliant. By the way, kudos to A.J. Morgan for not only not damaging the car, but pulling it off in a spot where there's no need for a caution. And here we go, down to turn 1. Last time, Keating, back end, hanging out a little bit. Uh-oh, he's got the big death wiggle going again. Saves it.
It could be time for a caution yet. It really could. Well, you will drive that car, won't you, Ben? Good, God bless you.
He gives it everything he can, and now but he's loosened up some of that debris that he was dragging anyway. That was part of his under tray. Now is completely out the back of the car.
Well, you can't drive it through the grass and not expect to do more damage. I imagine his crew's going to see it go by and go, oh my Lord. And anyway, there's Ben Keating, and there's good news for Todd Nelson. Look at him. Second race ever in Dodge Viper Cup trim. It's a brand new car, and he's second at Sebring. Can you hear that?
Boy, you hear that scraping, and look at the worker going, control. I got a little something to tell you about here. Right now, Ben Keating has decided to try and shave down some of the bumps on this track. And look at that, absolutely still flat chat through that quick right-left complex and down into Cunningham Corner.
Most drivers are going to hear that, and it's going to concern them. Not Ben Keating. Meanwhile, your leader onto the front straightaway. Could this be the last lap?
It should be. We saw the white flag last time by. Here he comes onto the front straight. That beautiful Kenda tire.
Here it is.
Dodge Viper, and he brings it home. A dominating win for Jeff Courtney. Again, a lot of experience here, and when everything else was going on behind. And just to show you the margin, we're going to throw the graphic up before the rest of the field comes through, which is Todd Nelson, Ben Keating completing the podium. Fiorelli, what a great story after what happened to him in round 1 to end up in that top 5 with a solid 4th place finish. And Mike Von Quillig, what a comeback drive. Here are the points now after 2 rounds, including qualifying. Keating over Morgan, Courtney, Nelson, and Mazik. Continues to have a strong run in the top 5 with the rookie Billy Grupp just outside in 6th. So just an amazing opening couple of rounds. This was Jeff Courtney's day from the get-go, and of course he has been found by Tom Natchik.
Well, Jeff Courtney, just yesterday we were talking about wanting to do well, and I don't think you could have won more convincingly than that.
Yeah, we had a bad start yesterday, and today, man, when you start with a game plan, you know, it never goes the way you think, right? I was going to let those guys duke it out and let them wear themselves out and try to make a run late. And Ben had his problem right away. And to be honest with you, I don't think I have the horsepower to stay with Mr. Morgan. So I thought, well, I'm going to let him go and try to wear him out. And things just fell our way. So I feel like a lot of decisions we made this weekend went against us. So maybe it's turnaround, come around, you know. Things went our way today.
Jeff Courtney's back, and he's going for the championship. All right, welcome to Dodge Viper Cup, Todd. How was that?
It was awesome. It was great.
So tell me what you saw out of the front of the windshield.
Oh, I saw Ben just slam off and hit the wall, and the track just opened up for me, and I thought, man, I didn't think I was going to get to the front on the first corner. It was amazing.
So it's round number 2, and you're already figuring in the points. This could be a good season.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll be here for all of it.
Todd Nelson in the flat black badass car. All right, Ben, round number 1 was, you could consider it non-eventful, but this one was very eventful.
Hey, I disagree. Round number 1 was crazy eventful. This one was a little crazier. I thought that since we're starting from a standing start, we're not going to be going nearly as fast when we get to turn 1, and so I'm not going to need to slow down as much. And so that's what I did.
Well, let me tell you something. We found this out on the track and thought you might want it.
Well, I appreciate that. Tom, I want to let you know I stopped and got these handy-dandy GoPro cameras just for you.
It's very kind of you, Ben.
bet.
P2 for Ben Keating.
There they are, celebrating well-earned indeed. That's going to wrap up the opening 2 rounds of the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra from Sebring International Raceway. 4 more venues, 8 more races, and rounds 3 and 4 coming up at New Jersey Motorsports Park. For Tom Natchew, I'm Greg Creamer. We'll see you then.